Astro versus Henry. This is the most feared challenge live event. This is a semifinal matchup between two really really good players. Henry comes into this game probably undisputed greatest Madden player of all time. Astro comes into this game, having a lot of flashes of MCS success, but trying to kind of put the finishing touches on, a great resume by getting that belt, getting that first belt, that first live event win. So going to be breaking this game down. If you're watching this, I'm going to also go ahead and put links to these guys' streams and sites in the description below if you guys want to check out any of their stuff. But let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the kick away, Astro getting the ball first. Henry going to be getting the ball at a halftime. Big advantage for Henry there. Always want to kick the ball off in the first half. Always want to be able to get ball at halftime as you go down the stretch of a game. It's great to be able to kind of double dip the chip. And again, Henry comes into this, being very, very good on, traditionally on the defensive side of the ball. Also one of the best passers in the world. But one of the interesting things as we kind of get into this matchup is Astro is kind of known for his offense. And oftentimes, not only is his offense relatively unique, it's a little bit different than what most people do. It's also the type of offense, the way that he kind of runs it, the way that he kind of plays the game. He's going to play in essentially like a high flying, really aggressive, kind of unique form of offense that is predicated primarily on big plays, user catching, and things like that. Now, as you see here, Henry's going to start out in the 3-3 odd. It seems like this is kind of his base defense, and then based on how the game goes, he might shift into 3-3 cub. But typically what you're going to see from this 3-3 odd is you're going to get some variation of a send 4, send 5 pressure. Typically the user going to be on this right side, and you have a couple blitz threats. The first blitz threat is you could send 5 this direction like this, which is really good. If the running back doesn't block, you're going to get great pressure. You could also send 5 this way, where you're going to send this guy off the edge, this guy, this guy, this guy, and then you're going to blitz your user, and you're going to D-pad switch. So you're going to switch stick by using the left D-pad to switch stick to, really wherever you want to, but typically it's going to be that linebacker right there. So those are the couple types of pressure that Henry comes into this game with. What's nice about 3-3 odd is you could send it off the right, you could send it off the left. Now, Astro is going to be in this Kansas City Chiefs playbook. He's in the Bunch X Nasty out of that playbook, and he likes to go to this kind of auto motion corn dog play, I believe, where it flexes out this outside receiver to the outside like this, and then there's all kinds of combinations that you can run as a result. The other thing that's cool is by calling this play, you actually get slot hot routes, so he can put this guy on a slot fade to potentially get over the top of cover 2. So those are kind of the core things that you see schematically within this matchup. We'll see kind of what goes on in terms of the first play. So as you see, there's that slot fade. It looks like Astro might have stemmed that up a little bit, but anyway, slot fade, running back, streak, and then this is what Astro does a lot. He has streaks a lot on most plays. You're going to see him have at least 1, 2, maybe 3 streaks, and then he has a lot of underneath stuff. A typical Astro combo, honestly, would be, basically, streak, and then it could be, depending on where the running back's at, a high low that way. So anyway, kind of interesting. We'll see what he ends up going to here. And you see right away the streak and the first play touchdown. Now, what's really interesting here, this is just a tendency thing. And this is just preparation at the end of the day. When you run this 3-3 odd, what typically happens, what most people are going to do here is they're going to send the pressure, and then typically you're going to get what's known as a roll coverage like this with this cloud. And so because of that, you're going to see Astro goes to that streak and that slot fade. So the slot fade will pull this outside third. The streak on this side will hold this middle third, and it leaves this really big void in the seam of the defense. And you see here, it's obviously his first read. As you see, as soon as he sees this right here, he knows he's throwing this ball 100 out of 100 times. The slant's purpose is primarily to hold the user, and he's going to get out of there and just get a very easy touchdown on the first play of the ball game. What's interesting again is there is so much that goes into these games. This is why I love breaking this film down. I mean, these are the best players in the world. This is like as deep as Madden gets, right? Astro comes in this game, coming off of his quarterfinal matchup. That's basically what he did the entire quarterfinal. Now, when you're playing these games, I don't know how much you actually get to watch the game before, but this is kind of a standard Astro type of game plan coming in, running a lot of streaks. That's going to be something you're going to see. He's done that literally for as long as I've been watching him play. He'll always have at least one streak on the field, maybe two streaks, right? So anyways, all that to say, I mean, he actually technically has 4 streaks, if you will, on the field on the first play of the game. So it's a very Astro-like combo. My point in saying that is if you're Henry, got to adjust to that as this game goes on. Henry going to be starting out here with this little RPO. Also wanted to quickly hit on Astro's defense. This double mug, what's really interesting here is he's running double mug. He's running double mug, but he's spreading his defensive line. Now, the way you used to run this is you would spread your D-line, you would spread your linebackers. Now what you're seeing people do is just a spread of the D-line. It kind of puts this guy right outside this edge. What it allows you to do defensively is you can overload blitz pretty much either side, kind of similar to 3-3 odd. And you'll see here, so you're going to get pressure 1, 2, 3 like this, and then maybe a 4th rusher like that. And then this guy could be the contain. This guy can coverage out and send 5. You might get the vice versa where you send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this guy becomes your coverage player. Now, as far as usering, typically you're seeing the user be one of these linebackers, and they basically will engage with the center, and then they'll D-pad switch onto, whoever they want to get onto. So pretty standard way of running double mug here for Astro as we kind of get into his defense. Henry's going to be in this bunch X nasty, comes out in its short side. Typically that is to flip into wide side, but Henry comes equipped with some pretty cool RPO stuff he's doing. He's going to start with this RPO motion, RPO zone alert here. And if you take a look, you can hot route on this play. So what he likes to do is he puts a streak and he puts this flat. What this does, especially against double mug, because this guy is often a blitzer, this guy is really the conflict player. So if this slot corner blitzes down, you can throw this bubble. If the slot corner covers out, you could hand this off and get an advantage in the run game. Kind of standard RPO action here. As you see his read out here, he actually gets covered by this outside guy. And so Henry just going to take the handoff and get upfield with Marshawn, kind of play a little bit more conservative there. Henry comes into this, I believe, in the Jets playbook. Jets playbook, to me, is the clear-cut best playbook right now because of the things that you can do, not only in the RPO game out of the bunch tight end, but also because of some of the red zone plays that it offers. Here you're going to see Henry go to a spacing switch combo. I actually love this combo, and he actually playmakers this, which is kind of crazy. I wanted to take a look at what actually he draws up here. This combo right here, you're going to see this combo probably for the rest of the year. It's kind of an Astro-like combo, if you will. It's basically 2 streaks. So you've got 1 streak here, 1 streak here. Now with spacing switch, you have this amazing table route. And this table route beats man coverage, and it's really good against pretty much everything. It's by far and away the best table route in this game. So that is what I call your low read. Then you have this post to the tight end. This is what I call the high read. So you have a clear out, you have a clear out, and then you have a high read on the concept and a low read on the concept. From there, you've got this backside in route or drag. Now, what Henry will do with this backside in route, I call this the alternate or the check down. Essentially, he's going to be able to drag across, but Henry, by hitting left trigger, flicking the right joystick in whatever direction, as this play kind of develops, and I'll just run the play a little bit so you'll see kind of how the space is out. But what happens is you will see right about here. So you see how this is kind of developing, right? You have your low read over here. This guy's clearing out. This guy's clearing out. What Henry can do is he can left trigger and flick the right joystick in any direction, and it always pretty much will playmaker this receiver because he's the closest to the quarterback. So he can playmaker this guy to the right. He could keep him running to the left. He could playmaker him upfield. He's got a lot of different variations. Essentially, in real life, right, this becomes kind of an option route underneath. So what I think Henry does is, you see here, this is him playmakering. His playmaker, I don't know what happens. It appears like it just doesn't register, and you see his receiver kind of freeze. I don't know for sure why. I would think he was playmakering him back into all this open space here, as you see. And he actually gets fairly fortunate that, Astros player doesn't really animate on the ball. But I think kind of an awkward deal with that playmaker. But that playmaker is a big feature that you're going to see in his offense. So right here, he is going to be audibling over into bunch tight end. I want to talk a little bit about this audible. So as you see this audible, the other thing is you're seeing Astros guy instantly follow. That kind of tells me that he's probably adjusting out of man coverage. Not 100% sure, but he probably comes out of mid blitz every play and then adjusts from there. But essentially what this basically means practically is this formation has a really, really good RPO. The bubble is good, but what you could do is if you instantly hot route this can actually become a flat route, and you'll see this kind of speed flat do a really good job against a formation like this, where this guy is the conflict player. It's very good against double mug. The other thing is you're going to get pretty standard combinations from Henry, but you'll see, I mean, his favorite play in the game that I've seen, at least he calls this the most from what I see, at least in this tournament, was this play mesh right here. This was his money play. And, you know, it does a great job against man coverage. It gives little pockets underneath against zone. So we'll see what he ends up going to here. He calls spacing, I believe. The reason for the spacing play call is because it has a little bit better of a table route to the back. But here's a pretty standard high-low again. So you have your clear out streak. You have your high read on this crosser. This crosser can be thrown really in those two main windows. Your low read on your table route. And then you have this high-low backside where you've got that stemmed up curl. And then you have this drag where you can playmaker him really anywhere across the field. But he is sitting 5 out here, so we'll see what Astro does from a pressure perspective. So as you can see, Astro only sends 2 people. This is a pretty standard thing to do out of double mug. The send 2, and what you normally want to do, normally you'll send 2 off of the quarterback's throwing side to make him roll to the left. Here, Astro sends 2 off of just the weak side of the formation. But anyway, here as you see, play kind of developed, and Henry do a good job of just taking that little dump down, that little flat, and just keeping the chains moving. Obviously, this is his first drive, and on your first drive, right, you just want to do a really good job of executing your offense at its core. Goes to motion cross post here, kind of gets spoofed, and really kind of a crazy play. So what you'll see is Henry goes to motion cross post. I believe it could have been the motion spot underplay as well. The motion spot underplay, both of them have this running back slide route. This corner route, when you stem it down one time, very good against man coverage. So this is going to be kind of the high read on the concept with the high-low being the tight end. This post is going to create a high-low in the middle of the field between the post and the return route. And then the running back slide is kind of just almost like a man-to-man read to a degree. And so what you'll see here is Astro sends 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when he sends this, you see his user here. His user, he kind of, I don't know what he does here, but basically he user rushes. And when he does that, you see he's trying to switch stick to this guy. And what he's going to do is he's going to switch stick and bite on to the running back. Here, Henry sees that, and honestly, just kind of an awkward play. And again, another kind of fortunate, doesn't get an accurate throw. And honestly, kind of fortunate for him. He probably freeformed it or whatever. But anywho, he's going to bring up a second down. Nothing harm, no harm, no foul there. Astro not able to get the play. Going to go to this play, motion clear halfback seam. Again, he has that corner route here. He's got this running back streak. So what most people expect you to do in Bunch X Nasty is run that spacing switch play. That is a money play, right? Because it attacks this flat so well. What a lot of people like to do in terms of their adjustments against Bunch X Nasty is you'll get a man-to-man here, and then you'll get a hard flat from this defender. If you play that coverage, this play destroys it because the corner route can beat man, but you have to realize this guy's going to go over here, this guy's going to go over here, and it leaves this massive void right here for the running back. So it's kind of a standard adjustment. And then on the backside, he kind of runs that same high-low read he just kind of went to. See, now he's kind of changing it a little bit. Instead of a cross, he puts a streak. So now you have kind of a streak corner. And then he's also sliding, and it looks like a full slide left. Now, the purpose for why would you slide left? The reason he slides left here is because Astro's user is standing directly over the center. He moves his user over here because Astro is basically bluffing this pressure right here. He might send it, he might not. We'll see what happens. So as you see here, he just sends 4. And by the way, this guy is getting pretty good pressure on the quarterback. And then you see Henry able to hit the running back. I want to take a look here back at the coverage. And just so you see here, you get a cover 3. So this is a flat defender, and this is why this is such a good combo. Nobody likes to defend that yellow zone right there. Astro does a really good job of switch sticking it, but he's just a step behind. He's not able to get on that streak, but he was obviously right idea. Also, Henry running empty protection here. Here's the flip. He's got the stem down corner. This is motion corner under. And Henry kind of honestly, to a degree, just kind of cycling through some of his core plays. Hits the tight end flat, the tight end speed flat out of that. Really nice route. And does a good job of hitting that and getting upfield for a couple yards. Shout out to the broadcast, by the way. Little game break here, looking at the John Beast and Geezy game. But let's get back to Astro and Henry. Audibles to bunch tight in. There's that combo, right? Pretty standard. Now, again, that slide protect based off where his user's at. Here's the problem with that. As you see, he gets screamed at instantly. So I want to take a look back here as you see. So Henry does the same thing. He slides. Why does he slide? Because he's worried about this pressure right here, okay? So he does that slide. Notice what happens, right here. So as you see, Astro sends this guy, and then he sends this guy, this guy. What happens is because you over-adjusted your protection over here, now this guy comes in free off the edge. This is the power of double mug. You have multiple ways in which you can get pressure, and you have multiple counters to the protection. It's what makes double mug so good, and it's why I believe that double mug is probably the best defense in the game right now in terms of the versatility and things you can do with it. Anywho, here you're going to get the same kind of combination, and he gets screamed at again. And good job by Henry sliding to buy just a little bit more time. It's actually great pocket, and he's able to get up and get a scramble. This is what underrated about Henry. Watch his pocket. He sees he's getting screamed at. Instead of freaking out and dropping way back here or trying to scramble, watch how calm he does this. Very calm slide, and then he's able to just kind of sneak out there for 3 yards. That is what separates people at the highest level. The ability to be calm under pressure. Anyway, as you see right here, 1, 2, 3. He only sent 3. He got a guy coming in free. That's why double mug is really, really good, right? It's why double mug is really, really, really good, because when you can get that kind of pressure, it really helps you play defense, right? Your zones don't have to be that great. So as you see, he's hovering here, bluffing this engage. We'll see if he actually runs it. Now, I could see him running a send 5 here. And you see here, this is Henry's standard operating procedure. So he's always going to slide when you hover over the center, okay? Here, kind of a standard combination. We'll see who does that left side guy. He is going to run the auto motion. Now, why run the auto motion? And here's why right here. So, again, Astro is coming out in a cover 2 shell, but he's adjusting out of mid blitz. When you come out in a man coverage play and you adjust it, even if you have a zone shell, these auto motions will take this defender and they'll move him all the way over here, okay? And the only way to not have that happen is to adjust out of zone. There's some negatives to adjusting out of zone as well. But anyway, what you're going to see is right here. Okay, now look at this idea. So Henry's goal is he's going to pull this guy over here, okay? And then he's going to run a high-low on this left side. So now, if you think about this, if we let this run a little bit and kind of pause right here, if he blitzes this guy, now you only have 2 defenders to defend 3 receivers, okay? Now, if you drop this guy, then the pressure more than likely is going to get picked up because of his slide protection. So a little bit of an adjustment to the adjustment here. You see pressure gets picked up, right? Now you have a massive numbers advantage. I want to quickly highlight this motion defender. See what Astro does with that right here. So you see this guy is kind of in no man's land over here. This is why auto motion plays need to be a part of your offense. And, you know, he's able to essentially, Astro basically just goes to man effectively. And then he's going to have the curl right there on the cut, throws it, takes it, easy read. And he's going to get out of there with Moss. He's going to get in the end zone. Very good drive from Henry, right? Some adversity through the drive, but able to kind of adjust to it and end up getting in the end zone. And now we'll see what he's able to do on the defensive side of the ball. We'll say one of the things I've noticed about Henry in this tournament that, you know, kind of a little bit different than the last one. Last one, he had a really, really bad Madden 25 season by his standards, right? Henry's standard is he should be winning a belt every other tournament. Every tournament Henry goes into, he's the clear favorite. You know, somebody that I think it's 8-time. I think he's the 8-time belt winner. He's won, I want to say 3 Madden Bowls. I know he's run at least 2, but I want to say it's 3. He's lost a Madden Bowl final. I mean, he's just always right there. You know what I'm saying? And by his standards, Madden 25 was a down year. He made 1 live event. He missed Madden Bowl entirely, right? It just very odd year for him. And this year, obviously, he's been back to his winning ways and his standard of success. So anyway, back to this real quick. I want to get into this defensive play. So notice what Henry does here. He's still on that 3-3 odd. And here's Astro. This is, again, another Astro combo. You're getting streak, slot fade, corner, right? Astro, if there's one thing I take away, and I do believe Astro is a top 5 offensive player every single year. And I think it's because of some of these streaks. And what's crazy is he can actually throw them against almost anything, by the way. Anyway, Henry gets good pressure there, and Astro did have the corner, but was not able to get the ball off quick enough. All right, so 3-3 odd here, and going to get this audible into that motion corn dog play, I believe. It's cool that he has a cross flat out of this. This Chiefs book is kind of fun. I do like it. Okay, so this is something that people do a lot, and I totally disagree with this decision. You're 2nd down and 10. And in the switch stick era, I really disagree with this. I would call this type of play on like a 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 5. But essentially, Astro is going to go to a bomb. He's going to run a comeback. He's going to run an out. He's going to run a super deep corner. So he puts one a corner, stems him up super deep. Puts one a post, stems him up super deep. Essentially, he has a 2-way bomb. However, he's going to need time in the pocket to do that. And then he runs the running back on a streak. So as you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7-4 from Henry. And I mean, you see here, this is why I have an issue. So if you look, this is switch stick. Henry switch sticks on this player. He can run him right into coverage. He's getting pressured, by the way, by 3 people. And you just see, I mean, there's just no way to throw this. This is just not a realistic play. Although because of Astro's crazy scramble ability with Cam Newton, he's able to avoid the sack and able to throw it away. To me, I just feel like I don't know why I see that constantly, because what happens is people call that in 2nd and 10, and now you're on 3rd and 10, and now anything can happen, right? You get a sack. There's a lot that could go wrong. And so to me, it's just like, I feel like it's almost wasting a play at times. All right, so we're going to have to watch this do via the quad or the split screen here. But Astro goes to, I believe, seam divide with that nice crosser. But kind of same thing, right? Those 2 clear out streaks. We'll watch how they play into everything here. He's got a high-low in the corner route. Good pressure from Henry. Good check down to the running back. But see what I'm saying? Now he's on a 4th and 10, right? Just because we wasted a play on 2nd down, you know, he's on a 4th and 10. Did he have the guy open? Yeah. But the way the pressure, Henry's sending pressure, this is why you want to send pressure. You want to try to get that pressure in. Now you got him on a 4th and 10. We'll see what he's able to do defensively here. And you see this slot corner come across the field. Astro going to go short side bunch. So why go short side bunch here? This is a cover 2 beater. And so it puts this guy in a lot of conflict. Now, if this guy, let's say he runs a 3rd, cover 3 with a purple, you probably are in a pretty good spot here because you're running a stem down corner. I don't love the combo by Astro here, but we'll see how it works out for him. And that's a stop. It's a defensive stop, just like that. And this is Henry, right? You know, now this is what Astro is known for, though. Henry does go cover 0 here. And we'll see how many people he actually sends. He only sends 1, 2, 3. And that's one thing Henry does on these big downs is he basically goes like cover 0. But he normally doesn't send very many people. Anyway, that being said, you see what he does. Look at Henry's user. He just sprints to the streak, because he knows that Astro is really good at pass leading this inside and clicking on and catching it. And so you see here, this is too muddy. He tries to throw this ISO streak to the inside. Henry runs right at it. And all Henry has to do is swat it. The running back streak was never a threat because running back streaks don't beat man coverage. And when you watch Henry play, what does he call on big downs like a 4th and 10? He gets into cover 0, and he normally sends just a little bit of pressure. And, it's kind of a standard thing that Henry did. And Astro did not really call a play that was great against man. He called a play great against cover two, but, Henry really wasn't doing that, especially in that situation. So just kind of an interesting deal. But anywho, let's get back to Henry and Astro, please. Okay, awesome. All right, so Henry game coming back up here on the right side of the screen. Really hate that they did this with the broadcast. This is a critical possession for Henry, and there is a little bit of a decision here. He's got the ball in scoring position. Ideally, if you're Henry here, you get 7. 3's not terrible because I believe Henry gets ball at halftime. Now, I was really surprised in this event to see Henry run so much doubles flex. Was really, really surprised. And here you see he gets screamed at, and that's just terrible. And this is what I'm talking about with double mug. This is what I'm talking about with double mug. So Astro notices really early on here, right? When Henry goes to this, when Astro gives Henry this look right here, Henry is constantly going to slide everybody to the side. Okay. Well, it's a very easy pressure. This is a very easy pressure, very consistent. So for Astro, watch what he does here defensively. He only sends, I guess he does send 5 here, right? He sends 5. He doesn't even have to engage with his user. He's able to be fully engaged with the defense. There's pressure, and he has a contain on the other side. Henry tries to instant roll out and do the juke glitch, not able to get it. You see there, messed it up, and having to throw the ball away. Was kind of interesting to watch this because Henry's not able to so far. The pressure that Astro's been sending has actually been the first time we've seen consistent pressure on Henry, throughout the game. Love this. We got a 3rd and 10, but we're looking at, John touching his nose and Geezy bopping his head. Love this from the broadcast crew. I really think that we've got to have a serious conversation about how incompetent whoever is handling these broadcasts have been over the last couple of years. We got the quad box, then we got the split screen box, but we got the B stream that gives you the full tape. At least, at the very least, publish the games, publish the gameplays uncut. That would make such a big difference in terms of the viewing experience. I just think, and also when you cut scenes and stuff like that, do it on kickoffs, do it on extra points. Don't be cutting scene just like the real NFL. Like if it was a 3rd and 10, you rarely are going to see an NFL broadcast cut the screen away. So to me, just a major, major problem. And it drives me insane. It drives me insane. You have a clear blueprint. It's called the NFL. And I don't know why. It's the reason I say this is just because I'm so hopeful for the MCS as a whole. I love the MCS. I love what they've done. I love the money you can make in the MCS. I love how it's taken the passion for Madden, I think, to a whole nother degree. And I just want to see these players who put these hours in and put the work in. I want to see them properly put on the pedestal they deserve to be on because of their hard work. And I just think that over and over and over again, year after year after year, the MCS broadcast fails their community year after year after year. There are some things they do very, very well, but there are some very obvious things that I think they could do better. And it would make a big difference in the viewing experience and would probably bring more viewers to this great esport. So anyway, rant over. Not going to complain about it anymore. Let's go ahead and get into it. So anyway, here Henry defensively, and this is what Astro does, man. He's able to get out of that spin out and look at Henry. Look at him. Look at Henry. Look at him. This is crazy. Watch this. This interaction is really cool. So you see here, Henry has him. But Astro has this really, really good scramble. He essentially scrambles and then he spins out of it because you can do these moves behind the ball. So you see that spin right there. I don't know if he has spin cycle on cam. He might, but he's able to get out of it. He's able to scramble. Now watch Henry's face. Look at this. There's Henry's face and there's Astro's face. That to me is a sign of you see Henry shaking his head, Astro laughing at him. To a degree, a sign of respect, in my opinion. I don't know, but Henry didn't like that too much. And Astro, that is Astro. That is plain Astro, and that's how good he is at that scramble. He can get out of anything. It's crazy how good the scrambles are. But anywho, he's going to go to spacing switch. So again, I love this combo. You normally see this as a crosser or as a post. What Astro does, and this is what I've been thinking for a long time with this, what if he did like a 15, 20-yard in right there? Really good for high-low and in the yellows, and then you have a clear-out streak. The purpose of the wheel, I don't really know. I would think maybe it's to pull the outside player, or if he's hard flatting there. But anywho, as you see, Henry switch sticks on this. Now Henry has to make a decision. Am I going to guard the drag, or am I going to go up with the wheel route? He chooses to kind of switch there. Then he switches here, and you see great read by Astro hitting that in that whole shot. Henry there, but just a step behind. Good play by Astro, and he's going to get across midfield. This has by far been my favorite game of the tournament. You watch these two play. There's a lot of knowledge between these two, a lot of knowledge. And you see Henry's nickel corner flip. He's going to have to bring him back over there. Kind of an interesting alignment, by the way, for Henry. This right here, real quick, this tells you something about his defense. I forgot to talk about this. So as you see, he comes out. Normally, this nickel corner would be over here, okay? But this tells you something. So when the nickel corner lines up over here in 3-3 odd, it's when he lines up on the same side as the linebacker like this, it tells you that Henry's not in a blitz. Not only does it tell you that he's not blitzing off the side, but it also tells you that this is probably like a standard play, like a cover 6 match. This is where you could see like a match coverage or something like that. So just kind of tells you a little bit of information. And then you see here the audible, and then you see Henry actually wants him over here. So he clicks on him, brings him back over. Kind of interesting how he's doing that. And you see here, look at this pressure. Pretty darn good pressure from Henry off that right edge. And good hit by the defense. Let's take a look back at the combo here. So it's a standard combo, right? Flat, zig. Going to throw that zig in that soft spot. And then over here you have a high-low crosser streak. Take a look at this pressure, though. This is base protection. Henry's hovering right here. He's going to run down just like this. And when you run down like that, watch what Henry's... Oh, he does actually blitz him. Never mind. He didn't send for. My bad. But good job by Astro hitting this obvious hole in the defense. But there was that D-pad switch that we were talking about a little bit. Yeah, by far my favorite game so far. You can always tell how much I enjoy the breakdowns by how long they are. If I go long, it means I'm really into the game. So anyway, really unique play right there from Astro. Let's take a look back at it. And it is that cover 2. What's crazy is this might have even been an outside third. If you look at the defense, look here real quick. So you see third, looks like a third. I don't know what this is. Could be a half, could be a third. But basically, he plays cover 2. So as you see this guy, he's basically in no man's land. Astro able to put the ball right where he wants to on that slot fade. Finally hits him with that short side beater. Anytime somebody runs bunch to the short side, I would never run cover 2, right? Obviously, it's happening at the speed of light and things like that, but there's just, it's a very obvious, like it's a very mainstream cover 2 beater. Auto motion out of the bunch tight end for the speed option. He's going to change the pitch key. And I don't know what he's doing here, but he's going to run it. And he's going to get tackled. It's a great play by Henry. You got to pitch this ball right here. I mean, Henry kind of dives at this because he's probably like diving at the pitch, basically. See how he delved horizontally like that? He's probably diving at the pitch. But completely able to stop that. I do think it's probably the right play to pitch it. I don't know if maybe Astro's seen that picked off and didn't want to risk it or what. And then you get a timeout call. So the timeout is by Henry. He's going to take a first half timeout. Why is he going to take a first half timeout? Holding Astro to 3 right here would be massive. It really would, because with Henry getting the ball at halftime, it puts Astro in a rough spot if Henry is leading at half, because he can obviously come out of half and get him an opportunity for, again here, short rant, but we got a red zone over here. Over here, we're not in the Madden red zone. You hate to see that. But anywho, I just hate how they're doing that. I really hate the broadcast. I just can't stand like that. It just bothers me. And here you go. And this right here is dumb. This is very, very dumb. Okay. So you're second to goal from the 8. He calls an interesting combo, but it's not a bad one. It's a wheel, it's a return. And here's what Henry does. This is Henry in the red zone. You're going to typically see Henry drop a lot of coverage in the red zone. So you see flat, quarter, or, this is technically open, but Henry will come up and tackle him. Anyway, you see him trying to scramble, and then he tries to spin out. Now, the purpose of this spin right here is to try to then be able to get over here, I would think, to try to get this guy to block here and get over there. So as you see him running, he does not get the block that he was looking for, and now he's in no man's land. Now, when you're right here, he can't really, I don't know that he can spin out of anything anymore. Maybe he thinks he can. You throw this ball away 100 out of 100 times, and you get a 3rd and goal and 8, in my opinion. What does he do? He tries to spin out again, but he gets a bad spin animation for whatever reason. Maybe he just messed up, right? That's why these high skill things come back to bite you sometimes when the pressure's on, right? And you see the facial expression, and now Henry's got him. And that's where I say, the way Henry plays, a lot of it is, you make one mistake. You make one mistake against Henry, and it completely changes the game. The 4th down stop where you're calling a relatively poor play call, and then, the 2nd and goal where we're going to scramble all over the world, but we're going to get sacked, and now it's 3rd and 23. And you have to, you kind of need points here. You at least need 3. So anyway, 3rd and 23, not the easiest thing to convert, especially in the red zone area of the field where you have to score a touchdown on this. So we'll see what Astro decides to do here. It's actually could not have worked out better for Henry too, because more than likely this next drive will be the last drive of the half. So anyway, we'll see what Henry does here. Going to go to the in, and Astro just going to run the ball. And I actually got a crazy amount of yards there. Now, why call a run play right there? Primarily because Henry's going to be pass committing, and sometimes those runs can pop against the pass commit. Astro probably didn't have anything he felt confident in, and essentially he just settles for 3 in that situation. So now 4:46 for Henry. It is a little bit of a decision. In my opinion, you want to make this last drive a half. The reason being is because if you don't make this last drive a half, Astro will make this the last drive a half. Kind of surprising to me that Astro, I don't know if there's a rule against kicking out of bounds. There might be. I would have probably kicked that out of bounds, but there might be a rule against that. I know you can't onside or whatever. So anyway. So now Henry, we'll see what he decides to do, but I would think he's probably thinking last drive a half. Going to half, either 13-10 with ball or 17-10 with ball. I think you feel good about both of those. But he does pass the ball first play. Really surprising. If he was thinking clock, he'd probably run the ball. We'll see kind of how this goes. Let's see if Chew Clock's on here. 23, 22. No, he's not got Chew Clock on. So kind of an interesting deal. Doesn't look like he's planning to clock this. Maybe he will once he gets closer to midfield and kind of sees where the drive goes. But playing pretty standard offense here. And going to just take that drag route over the middle of the field. Going to bring up a 3rd and 1. Another thing is double mug is pretty hard to run on. I will say that too. Just because you have a 6-man box or you have 6 guys right up there, it's kind of hard to run on it. Goes to a pretty high level and nice hit to the drag. I'll tell you one thing Henry does, and it's still something that, for me, you watch Henry play, I feel like there's a return route or a drag route on almost every single play. He always has that low read, that check down route that he can get to. There's that in route, great read over the middle of the field. Going to stay in bounds here. So now here's where it gets interesting. And I would think this is where he starts to clock. He's about 3 minutes and 20 seconds here. And I'll be doing a full breakdown on the John B. Skeezy game, by the way, as well, guys, if you guys want to check that out. But anywho, let's see. Also, if you're watching this and you're looking to get better at Madden, you can join our school community today for just $10. It gets you access to everything that I know about Madden and college football. All of my offensive, defensive ebooks for both games. Only $10, and you can start winning more games today. The link is in the description below. And now we get back to the Henry game here. Goes to PA snag. Oh, they're showing us a replay. And Henry's just going to take a free touchdown. Now, why does Henry take this touchdown? It's actually really interesting. So You see here, pretty standard. Astro intentionally runs him right here. Now, Henry could just run up and go down. Totally could. Okay. This tells you a little something about how Henry feels about his defense. He decides to score with 3 minutes on the clock. Partially because he gets ball at half. I think Astro intentionally wanted the ball back to try to go down and score. Astro's going to try to tie this ball game up before half. But it is a very interesting scenario because I would think what Henry's probably thinking here is just because he gets ball at half, worst case scenario, they go in tied. Best case scenario, he goes in up 7, and then, it could be he goes up 4 or 3, depending on how this all plays out. So definitely a scenario. But here we go. Astro on a 4th and 6, couple bad plays, couple things don't go his way. And now we got a 4th down and 6 play of the game so far. If Henry gets a stop, it's massive. Massive stop here. It could really change the complexity of this game. Astro, see what he's able to do here. Kind of dials up this combination. And going to go 5 wide, flat pivot route on the right. And Henry going to send the dogs, which he does not normally do in these big downs. And almost able to lurk it, and you see his facial expression there at the top. He did have him. He totally did. You see here, watch this user. This is a great user. So he runs down. You're getting pressure here. You're getting pressured here, okay? Which is surprising that he sent 5, but I think he does that a little bit to keep Cam in the pocket. He's got a 5-yard yellow here, and his user is going to go here, and then he's going to snap up to go up top here. Why he doesn't switch, I mean, it's a hard switch. I don't know. But, he's right on this crosser, right. Just out of reach. Not able to get it done. Facial expression tells you everything you need to know about it. And Astro going to be able to keep the drive going. That's a huge first down. If Astro does not get that first down, the game is probably over. Henry would then go up by 10 with ball out of half. Very hard for Astro to come back on that. So, anywho, that being said, that's going to take us down to the 2-minute warning. We'll see what these guys got going here on the left side of your screen. You see there's that motion corn dog play that he likes. Going to audible over to bunch strong nasty. Just go to a basic inside zone. Hits it quick. Not able to really get much. Now, Astro's thinking clock, so he wants to get that clock moving as well. Going to take it off chew clock, play pretty standard offense, but also is in the back of his mind for Astro. Like the best case scenario for Astro is he goes into half winning. Best case scenario for Henry is he probably goes into half up 10, right? If he gets a stop and then able to go get a field goal. So we'll see what ends up happening. But there's a little zig to the tight end. And 3rd and 3 on the 48-yard line. We got a streak, a slot fade, a motion flat. And nice playmaker on that little return route. Able to get that to the outside. Got about a minute left in the half. And I'm going to go post. And there's that playmaker. There's that spin. Tell you what, if you don't have Randy Moss on your squad, he's going to get out of there and he's going to spin him out and he's going to go get Savage. Now, if you're Astro, you're standing up swagging on Henry, and this is how Astro plays. He is all about the highlight reel, in my opinion. If you watch him play, he's very flashy. He does some stuff that just makes your head turn. Like, he's a very good player. But he scores here. He chooses to score here with 48 seconds, and Henry has 2 timeouts, and he gets ball at half. So if you're Henry, you're honestly, like, you don't love that he scored as you see roll the eyes, but it's honestly not terrible for you. Because, again, Henry gets ball at halftime. So if he's able to go down, get a field goal before half, he's in a great spot because then he can come out, get up 2 possessions. It changes everything. When you are winning by more than 2, when you're winning by more than 1 possession, even if you're only winning by 10, it completely changes everything about the game. It changes every single thing about the adjustments, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, as you see, Henry's going to get a free kick return, gets up here to about the 37. He basically needs roughly probably 35-ish yards, 40 yards for this, which is not hard to do at all with this situation. So, we'll see what ends up happening here. But there's the flat, threw it a little late. Probably was looking at the drag first, but he gets the flat, he gets out of bounds. Henry is a master of this, by the way. If you actually go back and look at the way that he won his first belt, it was because he had an amazing comeback against Drini where he was dead to rights, but he did such a good job when he was playing Drini of just taking the underneath. Here he's going to try to go for a home run ball. He's going to make the catch, and he's going to get a touchdown. That's a huge play. Now, Henry does a little bit of what Astro does against him here. This is lab work. This is preparation. And it's really interesting to me if you really watch what Henry was doing offensively. A lot of his best plays came out of doubles flex close. Might be a window into the future of the meta in Madden 26, by the way. I do think doubles flex off close still gotta be considered a great offense. But what you're going to see here is you're going to see this route right here on the left side. You're going to see a table. You're going to see a drag across, and then you're going to see a slant and a short post. But what you see here is a slot fade. So as you see, it appears to me, I don't know if this is zone or man. I feel like it looks like a zone turn, but basically he's outside leverage. Henry's playing on small, that pass lead increase on small. He does a great job here of getting that bend on the ball, perfect accuracy to be able to hit this. It might have even been a match call from Astro. I don't know. And then he just ags him effectively, right? Astro tries to click on, tries to go user for user and make the pick. Typically in those situations, if you click on, it honestly makes it worse. In my opinion, what I would do is click on, run him into position, and then click off. But Astro decides to try to go for the interception, which made it honestly more likely that Henry would be able to ag him. He's able to ag him. He's able to get a touchdown here. And now, 32 seconds, that's a significant touchdown. 32 seconds, 3 timeouts. Astro more than likely, going to have to settle for 3, depending on how Henry plays his defense. So really flip this game on its head a little bit. And if Astro goes into halftime losing to Henry, it puts him at a severe disadvantage in the second half. He really wants to go into halftime tied. And that's, again, why, if you score there, you really leave the door open. He left the door open for sure. So anyway, Henry thinks, 32 seconds. Can I just hold him to 3? For Henry, it's an advantage to hold Astro to 3. For Astro, it's a significant advantage if Henry were to get 3. So that's kind of how that was managed, that situation. Scrambles out of there with Newton. There's timeout number 1. And if you're Astro, right, I would think you're basically playing for a field goal, right? Very, very unlikely that, you see Henry gets in dollar. He has his curl flats on 20. Henry's going to basically choose to give you a field goal. More than likely. He's going to play defense in a way that's saying, I'm not going to give up, but he streaks. And you're seeing this here, 1, 2, 3, but he's got these deep guys here, and essentially he's going to say, throw the ball in the middle of the field. Here, great tackle. Missed the tackle in the first play, but honestly, great animation for Henry. Forces Astro to use that second timeout. Astro's on the 38. Astro is cooking on the drive, by the way. Henry's basically playing really soft defensive shell here, trying to get, Astro to not, trying to basically make it so that he doesn't give up the big play. So you're going to see here on this right-hand side, the streak, as you see, zone, zone. These, I feel like these streaks are way worse in terms of the one-play touchdown aspect against zone, but Astro throws a beam. Oh my gosh. And if you're Henry, this can't happen. You say, this just can't happen at the end of the day. You get a slot fade, you get a streak. Watch this corner on the left. You're going to see here, you see that turn? That tells you that's an outside third more than likely. Maybe a deep half, but it's an outside third more than likely. You get this streak and this slot fade. This is why Astro loves this playbook. This kills cover to the wide side. And look at this guy. He stops right there. So you see that? He stops. He's a flat. So Henry played like Tampa 3, basically, or cover 3 cloud effectively. So what he's thinking is this guy gets over here, but he doesn't. Doesn't get over there in time. And Astro hits it. Look at this throw. It's one of the best throws you'll ever see. Possession catches it, and look at Henry's face. Bad end of half defense on both sides, and you somehow have a 24-24 ball game. right? Normally that would be great into half defense, but not against Astro, not against Bunch Strong Nasty. Where Bunch Strong Nasty, he's able to beat that cover three cloud with that slot fade on that outside player. It's a very specific bomb that he has that most people don't come equipped with because most people don't run Bunch Strong Nasty out of Chiefs, and most people don't run Bunch Strong Nasty with the guy on the outside like that. It's a huge play. It's a huge play in the game. It's a threat that he had, and Henry ends up giving it up. Now, Astro is in the 3-3 double mug. He's not in regular double mug either, by the way. But anywho, now it kind of swings back to Henry. Can you get a field goal? Can you get into position? So the combo here is primarily, you see a little slant post, probably going to try to hit this drag on a playmaker, going to roll out of the pocket, going to just chuck a streak. And that right there, ooh. Now, why is this a big deal? You see Astro going berserk. Now, obviously, you should have intercepted this, okay? If you're Henry, this is a very non-Henry like to make this mistake. Now he's throwing this one-on-one, and he does have it. And again, if we back this tape up, we just see here what happens. He gets bumped. Astro switches right there. He's running on the streak. No playmaker to the drag. Henry going to just go for the whole shot, see if he can ag him one more time. Problem is, he gets hit. He gets a windup and he gets hit. So throw it a sack. This is a pick. Now, not only is this a pick, but Jaden Daniels is on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive linemen. These guys are nowhere near as fast as him. This could easily be a pick six. It's guaranteed that it's a pick and field goal. It's guaranteed that it is a pick and a field goal. Henry gets blessed, and you see the grin, knows it. Could have been a really, really bad deal. 5 seconds left in the half. These end of half scenarios, they play such a factor in the way these games ultimately turn out. When you have a competent Madden player on both sides of the ball, somebody that knows everything about the game, the things that make the biggest difference are the end of half scenarios, the uncharacteristic interceptions, the bad defensive play calls at the end of halves. And right there, right, Henry didn't have to pay the price for the dropped interception. All right, so again, just slant crosser, 15 streaks, 3 streaks. Yeah, that's good pressure. Great pocket to get out of there. There's a juke out. And just going to take it with Daniels, probably just get it to the half. Not going to worry about taking the hit, risk any wear and tear. And that's going to do it for the first half. All right, second half underway. These guys love this kickoff here. By the way, I want to back this up. These guys love this kickoff where they kick it off to the left side. But what happens is, I'm telling you, if you watch this tournament all the way through, there were so many of this. And you see Henry get out of there, and you see Astro's face. And this should be a for 7. He gets all the way down to the 1 yard line. It's a free kick return, freest of kick return. And so Henry starts the second half with the ball on the 1 yard line. And again, I just feel like, why are we kicking the ball that way? That's happened a lot in this tournament. And I'm just surprised that so many people are kicking it off that way. I don't know. I just don't understand it. But anyway, there, Henry hits a flat. Astro was there, but just a step too late. Henry able to get 7 right out of half. And now you got a 31-24 ball game. Again, this just kind of goes back to what I was saying. Had Henry played defense in a way that would have held Astro to 3, and maybe he thought that's what he was trying to do, it just didn't work out. That cover 3 cloud was beat on the very first play of the game for a touchdown, and then that cover 3 cloud, even with the 30-yard cloud, was beat over the top for the very last play of the half by Astro's offense for a touchdown. 14 points off of just nukes, right? 14 points off of just big plays by Astro. It's what Astro brings to the table, by the way, being, in my opinion, one of the top, 2, 3, 4, 5 players every single year on the offensive side of the ball. So anyway, ball on a 17. Henry does have 7 on him. He does have the lead here. But honestly, Henry should be winning this game by at least 2 possessions due to that in the half management. Astro going to start out the second half with a bomb attempt. Tries to scramble out of there with Cam. And there's a pick 6. Can't do that. And this is how Astro plays. At the end of the day, this is how Astro plays. And this is why he makes some of the coolest plays you'll ever see, and why he makes some of the dumbest plays you'll ever see. Right here, right? And this is what it is, right? You got a double bomb. This is his big play bomb. Henry blitzes everybody. right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He blitzes this guy out. So Astro tries to scramble out of the blitzer so that he can throw this for a touchdown, right? Well, you see, he doesn't get out of it. So his scramble doesn't work all the way. And then as he's here, you're getting pursued on. This is why faster defense is better. Speed is everything on defense. Notice Henry switch sticks is it, by the way. He switch sticks on the bomb. So Astro's going to just chuck this bomb. This is why you can't really bomb switch stick. I mean, you can bomb switch stick, but you can't like dialed up bombs against a good defensive player if it's obvious you're trying to bomb. You can switch stick right to the defender and help him. And that's exactly what Henry does, by the way. So this is probably not getting completed even if he throws this, but he gets throw out of sack pick, and it's a pick 6. And Astro's face knows he just lost the game. At that point, the game's over. 2-possession lead, and as you see, Henry thanks the Lord for being able to catch his pick. Astro dropped his pick. You talk about a momentum shift. At this point right here, the game is over, in my opinion, right? For obviously it's not completely over. We have a full half to play out, but you can't make those mistakes in a game like that against a player like that, against Henry. You just can't. It's so hard to come back from that is what I'm trying to get at, right? So we'll see what Astro's able to do. And you see, I mean, these spins are amazing. But at the end of the day, you got to a degree, there's still a level of discipline you have to have right here. This has to be thrown away. Right here. You can't outrun this guy. And this throw is impossible to make. Maybe he's made it before. You throw this ball away 100 out of 100 times. Instead, you throw a pick 6 and you lose the tournament. It's a great play to even get out of the sack to begin with, by the way. But, it really comes back to bite him. All right, so Astro this is what I call a stay alive drive. If Astro does not score here, it's very much so over. So he pretty much has to go down and get 7 here. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Short side cover 2 beater, drawing up some crazy plays, throws that seam streak. He's going to get in there for a touchdown. And you hear him saying, one stop, basically. So he does exactly what he needs to do. He gets down and gets 7. And we'll see what Henry's able to do offensively. Now, there's plenty of time for Astro to get back in the game. Like, Henry has to play regular offense, so to speak, and he can't, get stopped. But, again, you have respect for your opponent. Henry, best Madden player of all time. Normally, Henry doesn't get stopped in these situations. So we'll see what happens. Normally, Henry always closes the deal. Now, this is a theme in this tournament. You see Henry going to mesh. I would say his favorite play at a bunch. Calls it a lot. Hits that tight end drag a lot. And so, anyway. And we're going to, zoom in on a game that's a blowout. I guess maybe Goat Geezy hits a big play. Yeah. There you go. Made some, love the little chat at the bottom. All right, let's move on. Let's see if we can get this back on the Henry game. All right, so back on the Henry game, it does look like Henry did finish that drive, and he ended up getting 7, and now it's 31-45. Not a whole lot's really changed situationally, just more time's gone off the clock. Astro trying to dial up some stuff, putting 15 streaks on the field. He's got a flat there on the left side. You see, right? And this is what Henry should have been in a half, right? Cover 4. I don't know. This might be a cloud, but really the inside quarters are kind of the key to everything. And Henry doing a good job of rallying and tackling. But honestly, the interception and the 4th down stop are really the difference in the game. And, even though Astro's thrown for 400 yards, right, that one interception changes everything. So anyway, that being said, ball on the 30, little slot fade, flat. Henry almost switch sticks that. He snapped on that streak really, really well, but not able to get the job done. He's going to give Astro a red zone possession on the 13-yard line, and he's going to go to the play seam divide, flat, crosser wheel. He's got the flat, doesn't want to throw it, and tries to scramble and doesn't get out of there. It's like a couple plays a game, it's going to be a highlight. And then a couple plays a game, it's going to be a sack, and now you're 2nd and 15. Kind of the same thing that happened last time when he got red zone stopped in this. And there he's going to hit Waller, does a great job, and able to get in there. Yeah, Henry tries to switch stick on the third, but he's actually in great position to make a play. But as you see here, he's just not there and just doesn't get it done. So good drive by Astro. Did what he needed to do. Got 7. He's going to go for 2 here. We'll see what he does for his 2-point call. He's going to go to spread. And scramble didn't work again, right? He tries to go crazy, scramble out of there. You see him giggling. And that's how Astro plays, honestly. Like, Astro plays so free, and it's what makes him dangerous. But at the same time, it's what costs him in some of these games. All right, so here we got an intentional grounding on Henry. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 23. That is no good. Astro's only down, or he is down 8 now because he did not get the 2-point, I believe. All right, so bunch tight end for Henry. Going to go to a variation, high-low, block the tight end, make sure he has all the protection he needs. Does a good job playmaking, does a good job getting out of the pocket. And see right here, this was the difference between Henry and Astro in some of these situations. Right here. So right here, Henry could throw this. Right? This is a touchdown. He could make a big play. But what he chooses to do is he just scrambles out with JD5. And he's going to stay in bounce here because he's going to slide. Right there, the slide, stay in bounce, some more clock drips, you know? So I think there that just kind of shows one of the things that I think sets Henry apart is this situational awareness and the ability to, you know, kind of almost always make the right decision, which it makes him so hard to beat because, again, you make one mistake and it could be it. See if he's going to run the ball here. Just take a field goal. Yeah. So he's going to run the ball. He's going to chew this all the way down unless Astro takes a timeout, and he should be taking a field goal here. Yeah. So he's just going to run this clock all the way down and basically just take a field goal, go up 2 possessions. Astro's still going to be 1 possession away, basically. Now, this does leave the door open for Astro. Here's why. If Astro goes down and scores a touchdown, he can then kick an onside kick. And if Henry does not, even if Henry recovers the onside kick, if Astro holds him to 3, now the door is basically left open. So this does create a little bit more of a scenario, honestly, a path for Astro to be able to come back. Henry's been in 3-3 odd the entire game against Astro. Really interesting. I'd love to know why run odd versus Cub and his opinion on that. But anywho. And Astro throws a scary, and you see Henry like, what? Astro throws, this is what makes Astro great. He plays with no fear. He'll throw anything. And sometimes he makes plays like this. Look at this play. I mean, my goodness. And you see Henry just go berserk. Like, what? Back this up one more time. Take a look at this from the jump. So it's a streak. It's a zig. So he has a hook. And this is what Henry, I don't know what this zone here, this dude has sucked all game. I mean, he has done not Henry, but like this guy right here, this player has just given it up. And that looks like a half. Like, you would think a half would play that, but it just doesn't. And, you know, this is honestly, if you remember back to Madden 22, Astro showed up at the Madden Bowl with an offense. I want to say it was bunch Y flex. And that little spacing difference between bunch Y flex and bunch offset was all the difference in the world. And Astro would thread the needle and throw stuff that just didn't look open, but it was open. And he just would, it's kind of similar here. I mean, he's just threading the needle. He's in bunch wide nasty, and he's just out there just threading the needle, putting the ball in places that, you know, Henry's just not able to cover it. And hits that little flat out there quick. And now you see, now you got a ball game, 2-point stop, 48-45, 3 minutes, 53 seconds. Astro chooses to kick deep here. Kind of, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know for sure why. Other than, I don't know. Do you kick that deep there? Because here's the problem. Henry can still clock this out pretty well. Yeah, just kind of interesting. I don't know. I would probably prefer to onside. I feel like it's easier to stop somebody when they go from like the 50 to the, on this side of the field, it's so hard to get a stop. But there you go. Henry throws away. That's what you need. But if Astro gets an interception or something, it completely flips the game. I mean, I feel like there's kind of a couple different different strategies for how to play that out. And I don't know exactly what I would do, but I think I'd lean toward onsiding there just because in this game you can recover onsides. And then also in this game, it's harder to score. Like if you think about it, like let's say Henry got the onside, that means he's got to go this far. So he doesn't have all this space. But here, let's say Astro busts a coverage, Henry can catch the ball here and then he can go down. I mean, yeah, just interesting decision to me. I probably onside. I probably onside there. But Astro chooses to kick deep. And Henry gonna throw. Go throw a streak. Henry gonna choose to score here. Now, I actually think this is smart. Why Henry chooses to score here? So, you see all these in a game scenarios. He chooses to score here. Why? He breaks the tackle, he scores. Why? Because it puts him back up 2 possessions. Whereas if he takes a field goal, then he gets in a position, he gets himself into a position, where he's not going to be able to be in that lead like that. So he gets a big play himself. He actually ends up scoring on that, and he chooses to take that 2 possession advantage. So Henry up by 10 with about 3 minutes left in the ball game. All right, so kickoff for Henry. And again, like I said, I just think it's interesting. They always kick it to the sideline like this, but it does look like Henry kicks it to a different side. So I don't know. It appears like Astro kicks it to the left side. Henry kicks it to the right side. And I haven't really seen anyone get a major kick return on Henry, at least in live events so far. So could be something there with the kickoff thing. But, I guess that great catch. Astro obviously frustrated, thinking he should have got that played. But anywho, that brings up a 1st and 10 on the 35. Astro going to go to a quads alignment, kind of a unique motion to the running back there. Going to go playmaker. And, kind of the same thing that happened to Henry on the first play of the game where the guy was in position but just didn't really react to what was going on the field. You see Astro just so distraught, so frustrated, had a good chance for a stop there. Anywho, bunch X nasty. And you're going to see corner route, their little Texas route, good read. Hits the running back over the middle of the field, and going to be a 3rd down and 3 for Astro. And you got to score quick here to give yourself a chance. Ideally you want to score before the 2-minute warning. That can't happen right there. And if you watch what Astro does, watch this real quick. You see pump fakes it. So what does he do here? So what he does is he's going to throw this, but he's throwing into coverage. So he basically pump fakes it. I don't know if he meant to. He might have meant to throw it. He might not have. But the bottom line is you take a sack, 258. That means that ball is going to get snapped. Now you're 4th and 14, and it's going to be really hard to snap this. It's really going to be really, really hard to score before the 2-minute warning just based on that 1 sack alone. Again, another sack that you just can't take. Force feeds a streak, and that's it. Can't do anything like that. Tries to just play fast and tries to just force feed this streak into a tight window, and he just can't do that. This is a good read. I think, he's looking to kind of bend this and possession catch it. But if he waits, this is post, could be an option. Just really covered the player. And I feel like, kind of, I don't know, just didn't seem like that was his best play in that situation. And now Henry's got the ball up 10 with 2:47. This should be 3 runs and a field goal, in my opinion. Going to go to that RPO and ends up destroying the ball. But to me, a chew clock should be on here. And gets it under that 2 minute. Going to just he might go ahead and try to pass this. And he's going to take that in route. Breaks the tackle, spins out, gets the 1st down, exactly what he needed to do. And that's going to take you to the 2-minute warning. And now Astro's going to have to start calling his timeouts. Henry comes out in I-form wing, no intention to pass the ball whatsoever. It's going to go to the stretch out of there, gives the ball to Moss, that gadget halfback package, gets a 2nd and 1. Couldn't have worked out better for him. Astro decides not to call a timeout because he got a 2nd and 1, and he's going to get him stopped here, and now you're going to see the timeout. So now 3rd and 2. This is a bit of a situation. Henry going to get into that A slot package and looking to probably hit that quarterback power off of the left side. This is what makes Jets, I think, so good. It has so many options down here in the red zone. And going to throw a pick. Honestly, mean, yeah, it's a pick. Didn't love the combo. Didn't love two crossers. If you know Astro is going to send everybody, felt like it just didn't have anything that quick. Had to throw that not at the time that he wanted to, and that was a third down. Now the reason why that matters is because this is why Astro is probably excited. This does leave the door open again, because what happens. But honestly, you're not nothing too crazy. You're still going to need an onside. With only two timeouts, you're just gonna. There's just not enough clock left. Kind of too little, too late, right? So we'll see what Astro ends up being able to do here. Good switch stick, drop pick, drop catch. Henry's face goes crazy. And Astro is slinging it, man. I'll tell you, he's the definition of a gunslinger, and it makes him throw some of the. He makes some of the greatest plays you've ever seen, and then he makes some of the oddest plays. Just really interesting. Anyway, here he hits this streak again. It's crazy how good he is at hitting those seam streaks, but it's also crazy how if you look at this game, honestly, how much that's kind of come back to bite him. But anyway, seam divide. No, he's going to stay in bunch X nasty. Now he goes to seam divide here. Little running back streak, motion out into a 5 wide look. Going to go to a bomb here. Looks actually no, a speed out. That's cool that he could put that running back on a speed out. Able to get upfield about 34-yard line. Again, right, moving the ball, but it's time is of the essence, and good he got out of bounce there, but he's not getting the ball down the field enough here, which I know it's obviously Henry's sitting on that at this point, but see looking for that corner route, and he's going to throw a bad interception, and that's going to be it. Henry going to take it to the crib, goes down to 1, and that's going to be it. Let's back this up here real quick. Take a look at the pick. So, again, Henry playing just in this bomb play. He just gets a great shed, and Henry's user is on this all the way. Nothing else for him to guard, and Astro, kind of a bad interception. Right, bad interception to end it, and kind of similar to last year's semifinal, but obviously was in it a little bit more. But he was in, I think, the ultimate kickoff semifinal matchup and had some bad interceptions in that game. But anyway, at the end of the day, Astro is still one of the best offensive players we've ever seen. And Henry able to just get the stops he needed to get and is able to get out of there. Was fortunate on a couple of things, but at the end of the day, he moves on to the finals.